And down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Antiga Shipyard, we have our blue Terran player from the team Evil Geniuses trying to take things back for them as they are down 3-0 at the moment. It is PuMa. I contemplated very hard, like saying that as if it were spelled P-Y-O-O-O-O-O-M-A.
PuMa.
Up here in the top left-hand corner, though, we have our pink Zerg player who is on a roll. He has won 3 games in a row, trying to put MVP just 1 game away from taking the set. It is Monster.
And he has been scary, man. I mean, Team Evil Genius is going to be looking under their beds for this guy at night from now on. This guy's really put the hurt on him. I know. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about these players here. PuMa has a very good win percentage versus Zerg. It's about 64% right now, 47 for Monster. So it's not his strongest matchup. He did beat Thorzane, I would say, quite handily in game 1 on
time he's done so.
That's right. So obviously Monster's been practicing hard. He's been improving as a player. And if ZVT was traditionally his weakest matchup, it would not surprise me at all that that's what he's been primarily focusing on. That's a lot of times how the training in the Korean pro houses work. They find out whatever their weakest matchup is, and then they really practice it like really hard. They all day, every day for like weeks they practice it. So you'll have a lot of players where one season it'll be like ZVT's my worst matchup. The next season it's like ZVP's my worst matchup. Just because they practice one so hard, it becomes their best.
All right. Well, we'll see if this practice has paid off for Monster, though, as PuMa certainly no slouch, and he can throw you talk about players that can throw a lot of different looks at you. PuMa certainly fits into that category. The man can go from insane, ridiculous one-base all-in strategies all the way up to just, I've seen him go the complete opposite direction, almost Marine King Prime-esque when he decides to play macro, and you throw down 3-4 command centers, massive macro builds, and just trying to take over the map.
Our second former TSL player to be shown today. Of course, JYP and PuMa did used to be on Team SCV Life before they joined Evil Geniuses. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel like on TSL, one of their strengths as a team for a long time was Terran versus Zerg. So PuMa comes from a good tradition of TVZers. Polt obviously still there on TSL, doing very well. And like you mentioned, we can see a lot of variety from PuMa. So Monster is going to be very diligent with his scouting. He's going to need to be very careful with what he sees, and we'll see if he's able to continue to respond well.
And as we can see, PuMa does decide to put down the command center before going for any sort of gas. So he will double gas afterwards to make sure he gets up to that factory tech as soon as possible to compensate for that and increase his economy at the same time. Back on Monster side of things, nothing too out of the ordinary, just going for 2 queens for now. We'll see if once again he decides to go down that 4-queen route.
Yep, wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, it is. I'm going to go ahead and just call it the standard right now in Terran versus Zerg. Sure. Everybody across all servers is pretty much exclusively doing it. We've seen a couple of Europeans kind of shy away from it a little bit, but overall, it's very prevalent right now. And the first 2 queens did just finish, so we'll see if that does continue. Pretty normal opening from PuMa, though, getting that bunker at the front. And I like that positioning. Check out the bunker positioning from PuMa right now as we see that factory go down. That positioning is specifically against players that in the past went for that early speedling aggression to try to shut down the natural expansion at the point where Terran is vulnerable, because you'll generally only have about 2 Marines and maybe 2 to 4 Hellions when that hits. So a lot of Terran players have started to pull back a little bit, build that bunker by their command center, and thereby, you know, becoming a little bit safer. But in this case, PuMa's got nothing to worry about. Monster's got 4 queens and no intention of being aggressive anytime soon.
That's right, just continuing to drone up. Now we'll actually be on 38 here in just a second, so a staggering number of drones already produced at this stage of the game. And PuMa doing a very nice job of continuing to supply depot wall this in as well. Doesn't want to be killed by those counterattacks you kind of saw in the past, as you mentioned. So double gas coming up for Monster now, and this is pretty similar and what we saw him do against Thorzane. Of course, he had a little bit less flexibility with the 3rd base against Thorzane because it was on Tal'Daram Altar, and he had to wait on that. Actually, had to take it pretty far away down towards the left-hand side, bottom left-hand corner of the map, but still pretty normal stuff. Looks like actually PuMa going to go down the Banshee route after these reactor Hellions.
I think that's a great choice by PuMa. His Banshee control is great. He knows that his opponent is probably going to be going for a quick 3rd because of the map. So all in all, a great decision. Oh, but look at this. Monster's going to scout it with his Overlord. Yeah, he is going to see exactly what's going on. He's like, why is that barracks floating over that tech lab? And yeah, PuMa's not even going to bother hiding it. So now what Monster needs to kind of wonder about is there going to be cloak or not? We know that there probably Oh,
that's smart. I was wondering
like
if he was going to do that.
I like it.
He decides not to do the other route, which would have been like drop the barracks down and just be like, no, I wasn't going to switch that. Are you insane? No. Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder why more Terrans don't do that. Why do more Terrans not change what they're planning, when that gets scouted like that? Honestly, what PuMa just did, I don't feel like we see enough of in pro play.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And it's going to allow him to reinvest back into his infrastructure pretty well right now. Already 2 more barracks coming up, so he's going to be on 3 racks. He's got the factory, a good bio build coming out now. Will be able to move into tanks because he has the extra gas sitting around as a result of all the shenanigans trying to go over to the Tech Lab starport to begin with.
Well, he got his opponent to make a couple spore crawlers as well, so that's going to be something that's definitely going to benefit him, I would say.
Right. And actually forced him to make 4 spore crawlers and going to layer tech. I mean, maybe he was planning to do it right now anyway. But
get layer tech anyway.
But I mean, maybe force him to do it a little bit early to get those overseers out. But of course, we know it's not going to be a problem anymore. And in fact, Monster doesn't have a presence on PuMa's side of the map at all.
Nope, doesn't really have any more overlords there. There can always be, I was just about to say, you can make a Viking, as we can see in the production queue, just to kind of make sure that no overlords really get close to scout again. And especially now, he doesn't want his opponent to get in there because he's got him really unsure, If I've got a feeling that Monster is starting to wonder right now, all right, I saw what looked like Banshee tech. Where's the Banshee, You have to prepare for it, but one of the important things about StarCraft 2 is when you see someone's base, everyone's like, oh, he knows what he's doing now. He knows what his opponent's doing now. That's not actually true. You don't know what they're doing, you know what they're capable of, right?
Yeah.
So Monster needs to prepare for Banshees, but he also needs to be prepared for anything else, too.
And Roach is going to get fried, unfortunately. Crispy Roach, well done. Queen's trying to back away. Changeling's going to be like, hey, guys, how's it going? Oh, no. And this will be a little bit of a Marine Hellion strike, but there are enough units out for Monster, and he will be able to quickly make enough to be able to stop that pretty early on. Viking scouting across the map, trying to pick up any overlords. We see PuMa going into what Thorsing did very early, heavy upgrades, double engineering base right away, reinvesting back into his infrastructure, so he will have a very strong army. But Monster kind of doing the same thing once again that we saw in game number 1. He's got infestors coming up, could transition very early on into those into Ultralisks once again.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
As we see this overlord almost die.
Yep.
Oh, he actually didn't die. I thought I was going to be wrong there. Why is it when, oh, never mind, there's a push, and it looks like it's going to be crushed pretty easily. Monster needs to kill those, before they jump in the medevac, and they do, some do. Going into the main right now, Monster's going to need to respond to that, and the Zerglings can't run there.
Nope, definitely not. So, good job there to heal back up those units, but no, you have a question.
When you kill a Changeling, why do their pants always stay on?
Ooh.
You ever notice that the top part of the, whatever disguise they have pops off, but their pants always stay on?
That's right. Doesn't matter what they were either. Could have been a Zergling, could have been a Zealot, could have been a Marine.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't really know. It's a good question.
Maybe the pants are just the more evolved form of their disguise, right?
Yeah.
The pants can stay even after death, whereas the top part just kind of blows apart a little bit.
I realized my jokes get really bad because I was formulating some sort of like a bowels opening joke, and it just didn't work all right. So I was like, well, this isn't suitable for air. So
it's good you thought about it. Oh, got to be careful there. Monster almost losing a few Zerglings.
You're making me conscious of it now, though. So
that's good.
It's okay.
It's good. We'll learn together.
Aww.
Infestors trying to get a nice fungal, and
they will.
Oh,
God.
Great fungal growth. The Lings are going to be able to easily take out those, And actually, PuMa made a great decision there, moving the medevacs away before they got fungled too. Now, better to save those expensive units.
Now, this is, of course, a little bit different unit composition than what Thorsing threw at Monster. Is a lot more bio-focus rather than the huge amount of siege tanks very early on. PuMa going to be a little bit more mobile as a result, starting to drop now. Viking sitting over this expansion, clearly revealed. Monster knows it, so he has a few Zerglings sitting there just in case. So the way things stand now, let's take a look at the units tab. 67 workers to 73, pretty equivalent economies once you add in mules. Hive Tech is now finished, and that Ultralisk Cavern is coming right back up. So once again, Monster is going to be sitting on the same unit composition to use against Thorzane, but oops, those fungals are so good.
That's looking a little bit rough for PuMa right now. I'm really curious about how Monster is going to... he's going to probably take some damage at this base. There are some Zerglings there, but I'm really curious to see how Monster is planning on using Ultralisks as we see these Marines come in.
Yeah.
And that's a great positioning, too, by PuMa as well. He's going to be able to cause a cancel, potentially. Maybe not. Never mind. That's a huge amount of Lings.
Good reaction time.
what I was saying was with the Ultralisk Cavern, I wonder how he's going to use them, because you've got your opponent on 3 bases. You don't want to really use your Ultralisks to try to break them. It's very difficult to attack into a choke point like that. You want to wait for them to move out on the map like PuMa's doing right now, or you just want to, well, generally you just want to sit there, contain, and then wait for them to move out on the map with that army, and then try to kill your armies, or try to kill their armies multiple times.
That's right.
So I've got a feeling that's how Monster's going to use his Ultras, but we'll see. It looks like PuMa's certainly giving him the opportunity.
That's right. So PuMa trying to drop in there and do a little bit more damage. Got to watch out for this Infestor.
Nice
Once
fungal.
again, a good fungal growth. Pins a lot of units down. PuMa not really with a whole lot. And his tanks are totally undefended. They pick off a couple of Infestors as they move along, but the tanks are just destroyed.
Just nothing going right now for EG. It seems like their players just have been in rough positions the entire game long, all match long. He does get that hatchery, and he does still have a decent amount of supply, honestly. It's not so bad, but there is a counterattack at his 3rd right now. Zergling's trying to come in. Are they going to make way for the Ultras? No, the Ultras deciding to go home. Okay.
All right. Yep, going to back out for now. Looks like the middle base being taken now by Monster. Just PuMa sitting overhead and trying to pick off this Viking, man. That's pretty much a try-hard, honestly. So just trying to get any kills whatsoever. It hasn't really done anything yet. But Monster going to swing on by now with his Ultras. Good number of Lings in there as well. Just sitting on 2-2 upgrades for ground. Hasn't even started 3-3. A little bit surprising.
Goes. It's a dangerous move here, but he does have the Fungals to make it work, it looks like. The Ultras coming in, cleaning everything else out. 152 supply to 130.
Production starting to be camped now. Tanks are just dying so quickly. 2 of them falling. 1 as it pops out of the factory. That is pretty devastating for Monster. It looks like PuMa able to surround those forces a little bit. The Ultra's actually going down pretty quickly. Just 1 remaining now, but now with the Infested Terrans thrown in as well. This army is not long for this world.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be just enough. Oh, SCV's trying to drill Infestors to death. It's like that scene in Starship Troopers. But I think that Monster just has a little bit too much here.
Oh, no!
You can see,
the supply depot was down, and now 35 workers and counting have been killed.
That's the nail in the coffin right there. Even an Ultralisk can fit through there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to. He's just going to give his life anyway. It's a little bit dangerous to move into locations like this, like Monster did, but he just had that big lead. He was able to engage well. The Fungals were crucial.
That's right.
And he was able to greatly reduce PuMa's presence on the map as far as the army goes.
So, with that being said, it's a 50 worker deficit, so just about a 25 or 20 supply deficit in terms of overall army.
Yeah.
But PuMa really needs to win not just a huge engagement, but also start denying bases in about, well, 2 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much right now. I mean, he just doesn't have any control on this game right now. I mean, he's still trying to drop a little bit, but he doesn't have the Marines to drop and stay safe at the same time.
Right.
Monster kind of preparing this death push right now, getting a few more Infestors, making some Banelings to go along with the Lings and Ultras. And it's only a matter of time now, I feel. If PuMa manages to hold this and take the win for his team, it is going to be an absolute miracle defense.
Creep spread looking very good. Looks like PuMa is going to have a fake dropper on the side to try and pull some units out of position. But unfortunately for him, I don't even know if that alone is going to be enough to draw that many forces away that he'll be able to win a huge engagement in the middle.
He needs to do everything he can to stall right now, and that's the idea behind that. He lost a couple supply depots. That's why we see the supply drop there. Wouldn't read too much into it. But it's just going to be tough. Like you said, that fake drop, I don't think Monster's going to really fall for it. Or, he may just not care.
Yeah,
he's like, all right, well, if you drop me, I'm just going to go try to end the game here.
I'm going to kill you. So
yeah, more or less.
That's what happens.
60 supply ahead right now, too.
That's right, and still sitting at a 44 worker advantage. There is a drop inside of the main. Look at that, transfusing each other unto death. One of the Queens falls. The second may go down here in a second, but the entire drop is going to get killed. Wow, only for picking up 1 Queen. This one's going to be a little bit more successful.
That's
down
on
the bottom left-hand corner. That's going to clear up a lot of drones.
Yeah, and I mean, he is keeping Monster to just 4 bases. Obviously, this 5th one not really doing a lot of mining, but, Monster, I feel like we're right on the edge. Oh, nice snag with the medevac. He's able to catch that, take it out with some Infested Terrans. Does have to use 2 Fungals, but overall not too bad. Monster just kind of waiting until he has that big maxed army. He's got 2 more Ultras on the way. He's got 3-3 on the way. He may choose to wait for that. And honestly, he has no pressure at all to attack right now. Absolutely none. He's got his opponent trapped on 3 bases. PuMa's not going to be able to take a 4th anytime soon, so Monster is going to be perfectly fine just waiting for 3-3, getting the perfect composition, and then moving out when he knows without a doubt he can win.
And that's a huge amount of banelings in the middle of the map now. So you can see 3 more
51.
morphing in. I think it'll be 54 here in a second. Standard amount of banelings. Standard.
Oh, yeah. If your name's Lucira, maybe.
And, well,
whatever happened to that guy, man?
Yeah, no kidding. So, well, PuMa going to make his way back in, try and kill another base. Unfortunately, he's already an Ultralisk coming to clean this up. Looks like it will be able to do so, but not before a lot more workers are killed. So PuMa continuing to do economic damage, and a very good job of it at that.
Yep, and look out, Medevac, you're about to get bungled.
Oh, didn't matter. I was actually sitting over the Spore Crawler as well.
That works too.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, reducing the creep spread is pretty nice when it's all the way up to your natural expansion.
Oh my god.
So PuMa trying to do that. Yeah, the 4 Queen opening, man.
Another 23 banelings. That's going to be 76.
It's the 4th of July for Monster, man. He's going to have this go out with a bang. He's just kind of showboating a little bit now, I got to say.
Going out with a bang, eh?
Yep,
Dun-a-dun-a-dun-a-dun-dun-dun.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if he's... Well, he may just be able to just steamroll the army, honestly, with the amount of banelings that he has sitting there. It doesn't even matter if he trades cost effectively or not. That being said, 10 tanks up is actually a pretty stout anti-ground defense.
Well, here's the thing, too, is that Monster wasn't really able to get... that didn't work. Monster wasn't really able to get more bases up, losing a few infestors there, too, and PuMa has a great defensive area. He's kind of telling Monster to come at him. Monster doesn't have a ton of resources to remake that army completely. If he loses that army, he will not be able to max out. So PuMa, you know, although things look very grim for him, he's not out of the game until he's out of the game.
That's right. That being said, though, good job cleaning up a couple of drops there for Monster. He is once again back on 6 bases, so just needs to get this one saturated and start producing. But otherwise, big drop coming in, but not too much else being done by PuMa at the moment. Just sitting back, waiting until he's able to max out once again. Marines are going to be able to kill a couple of units there, but PuMa's forced to pick up and get out of there. God, that's so many banelings.
I know. I don't know. I feel like, honestly, that's 90 banelings.
90!
I feel like Monster is just kind of being like, hey, PuMa, it's time to leave the game now. And we'll see if it really is or not, because here he comes!
Oh my god! The siege tanks are all pinned down. Doesn't even matter. There's not that many banelings left. They just blew up everything. And still a good amount of supply left over for Monster. He's reproducing a ton of lings at the moment. Just going to headbutt his infestors into his opponent's base, and it may just work. Yeah.
Some infested Terrans to kill off that tank, the Ultralisk. So he does lose one, but there's a GG.
Wow.
MVP.Monster going 4-0 so far against Team Evil Geniuses. Wow.